Welcome back to Rapid Fire Insights. I'm your host, Dave McCall, and we're here today with my co-host, Chris Hanna.
Hi, everyone. I am excited about today's guest.
Me too. Victoria Rubio. She runs VR Success Services, a growing, actually fast-growing business here in Windsor, Ontario. She handles branding, she handles marketing, she handles videos. I mean, the woman just does it all.
It's incredible, Dave, because I don't think that there's been a week in the last year, especially, where I haven't seen something that says VR Studios, VR Success Services, Victoria showing up on Facebook. Like she's everywhere. It is unreal.
Absolutely. All the events that I hold, she's there with her camera. She's shaking hands. Everybody knows her. So, I mean, I think it's great that we get to introduce her to people today. They're
Yeah,
going to
I
get a
think people
lot
are
of
going to have a
value
ton
from
of just insights from her and I think a personal and professional perspective. We're going to try and pull some stuff out of her and put her in the hot seat a little bit here today as well.
it. Sounds fun to me.
All right, let's bring her in. All right, welcome, Victoria.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
For those viewers and listeners who don't know Victoria, Victoria has just a variety of things that she does. Now, I mean, you have the videos and you have the branding.
So,
You're doing the manuals.
Maybe we
You're doing the
actually
bridge
origin
builders.
story, maybe a little bit of
Oh,
hey,
sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
let's do it from that perspective because I think you are you're a superhero in the area. So let's hear the superhero origin story of how this came about and how the brand and the offerings are.
So I started as a social worker. So I'm a social worker by profession, and in that, I mean, social workers wear many hats. So we help people improve their lives in one way or another. One of my, I think, favorite roles that I did was working as a social worker at a homeless shelter and a long-term rehabilitation center, and all of that entailed um, assisting people to, decide what they were going to do with their lives, how they were going to, where they were going to go, not just personally, but professionally. Okay, let's see, where your passion lies. And um, I think I really developed this really huge passion to help the people that I was helping to stand out when they went to do something because I already knew there were so many odds against them, right?
So I've got a
So,
question then, Victoria. How did you go? I mean, I understand that you wanted to help people, and you've always been that way. But how did you go from social worker and working with people hands-on that way to branding and marketing? I mean,
so
that's a bit of a leap there.
well, it's very similar to me. And this is why I think I told you this before, Dave. Like I feel like I'll always have like the social worker brain. So I went from social worker to doing things on my own. I mean, I did a transition, mainly because I started doing it on the side. So I started doing like resumes and stuff on the side as a small,
Side hustle,
side
kind of.
hustle. Yeah,
Yeah.
as I was a full time social work, and then it not only ended up being super lucrative, but very like fulfilling, right? And I loved it. So I said I'm gonna go all in with this, and it wasn't just with resumes. It was and then I'd be resumes, cover letters, and then coaching, like success coaching, career coaching, um, and then it really the umbrella for branding came because I didn't know exactly what to call what I did. I was like, well, I help you stand out. That's my thing, right? That's my promise. No matter what it is, you will stand out, right? And um, but the more I started learning and studying, the word branding, which is basically how people perceive you and what message that they get from seeing who you are, whether it's your career or your business, that is why we ended up focusing on that word, branding.
Now, at what point? I mean, you've got the office on Walker Road. It's a beautiful
Mhm.
office. Chris has been there so far. It's a really nice facility. At what point did you decide to take the leap? I mean, running the side hustle, out of the house, a lot of people do it. But to take that brick and mortar leap, that's a real leap of faith. So, what got you to, there?
I was just sick of working from home. I had a nice home office, but I still felt like we can't do as much as we want to do here, right?
Like some
So
people like the idea of just going somewhere and like being in a spot versus doing it from home. Is that you? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Well, I mean, during COVID, I was home. I started this from a dining room table, literally, like dining room table, baby on the table, plopped in front of me, right? Like that's how I started this. It wasn't glamorous at all, but then I got a really like I decorated a really nice home office. That's where I saw my clients, but I still felt like maybe yes for me because I'm a single mom and I still didn't have that divided work time because the kids I'm home so I'm available. No, I'm not available. I'm working, but that was hard to differentiate. So I think eventually I said, okay, I do want to have a space, and this place, I love it. It really brings me a lot of inspiration and motivation. But we kind of just stumbled upon this place because I had seen so many places and I was like, nah. And this place ended up being a two-in-one, and that's how VR Studios was born. Honestly, when we walked in here, what should we do with this space? Studio. Okay, so then so VR Success Services opened up
Oh,
VR Studio.
interesting. So you go
Yeah.
from here's the idea, you want to get an office space, then you
Mm-hmm.
see a space, and then a whole other business comes as the
Yep.
result of it.
Yep.
See, that's an entrepreneur right there.
That's
It's like
cool.
just the opportunities here. You just jump in, you take it, you go with it. I love that. I really do.
That is really cool, actually, because yeah, you don't even sit there and think about your like that's something you have, and you just make it happen.
And what I
Honestly,
like,
no, I was gonna say if I had like pondered too long on any of this, I probably wouldn't have done it. I
see,
so
that's
I
the thing with
just
a lot of business owners, Victoria.
yeah.
A lot of times they'll hem and they'll haw and they'll think about things. You gotta, get your plan, get your idea. That's, do all that solid stuff. But then you got to take the jump. You got to do it. Otherwise, it'll be a great plan and a great thing that you'll be looking at years from now, going, I really should have done that.
Yeah.
So I really love people like yourself who just bite the bullet, take the leap, get out there and just start doing it.
I trust that it's gonna work because even if it's not the exact vision that I had, it will be something great. Like even this, like the studio has taken off a whole new life that I didn't even realize when we first opened. I thought, let's just do photos here. But no, it's like it's taken on a whole new identity, and I love it. And it's kind
Well,
of
and
I'm
and
flowing with it, right?
the new
So
connections too. I mean, when you've got
yeah,
a place, when you've got some place that people know where you are,
yeah,
then they can come to you. Just like you were saying just before we started here, somebody just walked in today.
yeah. They
Just
walked
walked in
in.
the
They're like,
front
yeah,
door.
yeah,
So I mean, just the connections you can make just from having that location, having the offices, putting on some of the different classes and things that you do. I think that's great. I mean, I know a lot of people, work out of the house. But then, like you said, if you want to grow the business, you got to take it to that next step.
yeah.
And the way that you've set up the place is just fantastic.
Yeah, I love how it feels, and that's the whole point of it here. People come here, they're like, it really feels really good. I'm like, yes,
That's
that's
the
what I
vibe
need.
you're going for, right?
That's the vibe.
Now, I do
Yeah,
have to ask because I know that you've got the kids, you've got the business, you've got charity things that you're working with. How do you balance it all?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same question, Dave. I'm glad you asked it because how do you keep it all going? Because you're juggling a lot.
I think I just have gotten used to compartmentalizing. Like, okay, I have work time, I have home time, I have you know project time, and sometimes I don't have the time. And I mean, you and I have talked about this a few times, Dave. I'm like, you know what? I'm really overwhelmed right now. I just need I need a few days, and
Yeah.
because it happens to everybody. Like I'm not a superhero as much as people tell me that. Sometimes it gets really heavy. Sometimes it's harder than others. Sometimes I shut down and I'm like, you know what? I'm just taking 2 days to myself because it's too hard or whatever. But then I get right back to it. So
See, I
I
think
just
that's
always
that's
make
the
sure
key
I
right
take
there.
care. Yeah. I just make
That-
sure that I stay honest to myself. Like I don't pretend that it's, um, you unicorns every day. Because if you're a business owner, you know that it's not.
Yeah, there's
You
ups
know?
and downs and stuff that are going to
Yeah,
happen, right? But I think it's
yeah.
important what you said there, Victoria, about like taking time for yourself too, right?
Mhm,
Because I think a
mhm.
lot of people they work hardcore and like they have this passion, this business they're trying to do, and sometimes you can get burnt out really easily,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
everything can fall apart. But if you don't take time for yourself, it's going to get worse.
And learning to
yeah,
say no.
Yes.
Learning to say no is I mean, for people who are watching and listening, if you're just getting into the business world, learning to say no is a valuable skill. It's scary at first because you're afraid that you might lose something.
yeah,
But if you spread yourself too thin, if you take on too much, if you got yourself going in 8 different directions, then everything loses. So
yeah,
you've got to learn to say no, not to this right now. Maybe next week, maybe next month, but not right now. So I think that was a great, piece of value that you just shared with us.
yeah. Because I mean, I think a lot of the times, especially when you do things that you have so much drive for, like you feel like you have to show up a certain way 100% of the time, and or you might be disappointing people. But I think honestly, one of the best things you can do is just be real
Mhm.
and show the truth of what the process entails, because that process is not always it's not always um serene. But I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's just,
Well, we've
but
got a
that's how I
process.
manage, right?
I was just gonna say, I think this is
Yeah,
a great way to you set us up, Victoria.
yeah.
We are gonna segue here into a bit of a process for us. We're gonna have some
All
fun
right.
with you. We're gonna
Okay.
throw some questions at you, rapid fire style. It's the first thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
Some of these
Let's get
questions are
into it.
gonna be personal, some of them are business, some of them are off the wall. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Let's
First
do
thing
it.
that comes to your mind. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. How would you describe your coaching style in one word?
Leadership.
What's one piece of advice that you would give your younger self before starting your business? If you go back in time a couple years.
Just do it.
What's one business book you think that everyone should read?
Um, 48 Laws of Power. I know it's not a business book, but that's such a good book.
I love that book
48
too.
Laws of Power.
What's your favorite movie?
The Sound of Music.
Similar vein. Favorite song?
Oh, I'm a song like, no, I can't.
Not
Um,
one. Not one.
I have like 35 million right now in my head. So let's pick How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees.
Who's an entrepreneur or business leader that you admire or you'd love to have lunch with?
Um,
Live or dead?
I've always admired Trent Shelton for what he did with going from being a football player to like super motivational speaker. Like, so I've always looked up to, I've always wanted to pick his brain.
What's one trend you think that's shaping the future of entrepreneurship?
AI, presently anyway.
Yeah. What's a resource that you wish you had known about now, like that you wish you knew about then when you first started, but you know now?
That I didn't know then.
Yeah, that you didn't know then, but you know now.
Um, Probably mentorship. We all try to do it alone, but mentorship just literally makes you jump leaps and bounds. Uh,
What's one piece of advice that you would give to somebody else who's maybe going through a career transition right now?
um, Hone in on your transferable skills and how you can streamline them to where you want to go, because you can always grow. So most people feel like they're stuck, but you can transfer almost any skill to a different position.
There you go. If you could wake up tomorrow and have a superpower, what superpower would that be?
Um, these are hard. What superpower would it be? Maybe the ability to grow a money tree.
A money tree. Nice. I think we'd all love that. All right, last question. If you could create a new holiday, what would it be called and why?
Oh, let's do entrepreneurship relaxation day.
Entrepreneurship Relaxation Day. There you go. I
Yeah,
think we could all get behind that.
I'm in.
yeah,
I'm in.
yeah. Because entrepreneurships never stop. Their brain, like, we never stop. You could be laying there going to sleep, but you're always thinking about something, or so
You got
just
that pad
That
and
is
pen
so true.
by the bed at three
yeah.
o'clock in the morning when you have those ideas.
Or
Absolutely.
your phone or on voice note. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, that's one of the things that I love about Victoria, Chris. Um, when she sees an opportunity, you know, when she sees it, she seizes it. She just grabs onto it and says, "Hey, there's another connection. There's this. There's that. I can do this. I can do that." There's not a question of, can I do this? It's I can do this. And it's a big positive, vibe that comes. It just radiates off her. So,
Well,
I'll
and I
just
do wonder, like, for that piece there, like, Victoria, you talked about mentorship earlier. Like, is the mentorship, is that what's helped unlock some of that added, like that, like what Dave's talking about there, like where you're just seizing things, like that you're open for stuff, or like what's created that?
I feel it was a big mindset shift with not having to wait until the things that you think need to be perfect are perfect. So you can do it messy, you can do it sloppy, but sometimes if you don't do it when the opportunity presents itself, it's gone forever. I've learned that so many times, and I think in my younger years, there was a lot that I may have prevented my own self from, going into because I wanted to be ready, or I didn't feel that maybe this wasn't right yet, so let me wait on that. But then by the time that was ready, the opportunity had long gone, right? So
Like some
now I
people are
feel
almost
like,
perfectionists, right? Like they want to have it all perfect, and you're saying basically it doesn't have to be perfect. You're ready to launch maybe,
yeah,
70-80% almost, really.
well, what's the
yeah,
old saying? Perfection is the enemy of good. It's like you're always striving to get that perfection, and you're delaying and you're putting things off. And as Victoria says, sometimes the opportunities are still there, sometimes they're not. But you're never going to get to that perfection. It just doesn't exist. you know
it doesn't
uh,
exist.
so you got to just
And
jump in.
yeah, and perfectionism sometimes is not just about wanting things to be perfect, it's just about being afraid, right? Like that's just what your excuse. My social work is coming out right now, my social work skills, but it's fear, fear even of success, because especially if it's on a path that you've never gone before, it's the unknown to you, right? Oh, I need a backpack, I need this, I need that, I need that, I don't know, it might be cold, it might be hot, like just go, because as you go you'll see what you need, and you'll
And
you'll
you know
get
what it
you'll
is too? Mentorship is huge, and working with other business owners. Networking, as you and I know. When you make those connections as you go along and you need things, reaching out to other businesses. A lot of people get this mindset that I can't. I'm a business and I can't do anything with any other business. You know,
Yeah, it's like a
right,
scarcity mindset. I think a lot of people have, and
yeah,
like they're just
it
they're
is.
kind of
it
holding
really
on to
is.
everything, I guess.
Yeah, even if you do the exact same thing, you're like, let's put a workshop together, like
Yeah.
let's put our, let's help more people. Like it's yes, you're right, Chris. Scarcity mindset. It's huge. And it's
Yeah.
again that fear factor. Like we have to, not support each other. I think the more that we work with people, even in our same industry, um, the opposite. So it's like the more abundance that you attract to yourself and that you create. That's what I've noticed. There's
Yeah, the
many people
rising
that
tide lifts all boats.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
one person's doing well, guess what? If this business over here is doing well, that category is getting attention. And if you're in that category, well, guess what? You can pick up some of that attention as well. So, I mean, I don't know why the scarcity mindset. I guess it's just something, I call it the island mindset, where you're on this island, there's only so much food and everybody's trying to grab as much as they can. And they don't care if the other people starve as long as I've got mine. But if you throw all the food into one big pile, everybody eats, you
Well, you got
know?
to look at it this way. There's 8 billion people on this planet. There's a lot of opportunity and stuff out there. And yet
Yeah.
people might be similar industries or business models or whatever it's going to be. There's a lot of different customers out there for people.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
And that's actually what I literally focus on with my clients. I've worked with people in the same exact industry, and they'll say the same thing. Well, what about my competition, this and that? And I'm like, go to the bread aisle. Like there's 35 different types of breads and they're all selling. Trust me, there's an audience for you. Because even though you might be offering the same service, your ideal client might be way different than their ideal client, because not no two businesses are the same, no two offerings are the exact same. like there's so much that you can hone in, and that's the whole point of branding, like getting that message. Who is your ideal client? It's different than theirs. Don't worry, and even if it's similar, we can find a way to grow together. Like,
And
don't
sometimes
worry,
it's not just the product,
right?
as you well know, because with the branding, sometimes it's you. It's
Yeah.
who you are, and
Yeah.
what you bring to the table, you know.
Mhm.
It really, I mean, sometimes it's just, we've all watched Shark Tank at some point in time,
Yeah.
and a lot of the times you'll hear the shark say, we're not just buying the business, we're buying you.
Yeah.
If it was just a business, we wouldn't do it. So that's where the branding and the marketing and because you've got to brand and market yourself, not just your product and just your service.
Yeah, especially because if you're the face of your business, right? That's what people are going to get to know.
Oh,
Vic-
absolutely.
So Victoria, what kind of final thoughts do you want to share with the audience? What should people know about you, your business, or what words of wisdom do you want to share with the folks who are out there either watching or listening to this?
Um, so you're literally the only person that can limit yourself, and we do a really good job at that. So like I said earlier, like if there's something that you see that may present itself or that you want to achieve, like just go for it. Like there's no law stating that you have to stay in the same career, especially if you're not happy. There's so much that you can do. There's literally the opportunities are endless, but if you're open enough to see them. And me, like that's what I did. I just did it. I started it off very messy, but it turned out beautiful. And every step of the way, I just tweaked and grew. Right. So, I say just go for what it is that you want, because life is too short. To
I'd say
just
you could
chase
use
that.
just do it as your tagline, but I think there might be some lawsuits in there.
Yeah,
So
No,
just go for it though. I love it. Like I think
there
that's a
you
great
go.
mentality
yes.
to think about it, right?
Go
I think
for
that
it.
more
Go
people
for
need
it.
to.
Go all in, because you will be so surprised once you go all in. And I know you're the all in solopreneur,
Yeah, yeah.
Chris, but once you actually go all in, like that's when things start growing. If you're over here, like maybe not, I don't know, like nothing's going to grow that way. Right. So, like, once you actually commit, things happen 100% of the time. Like, there's no other way. So,
Well, Victoria, thank you so much for being on the show. That was amazing. Great insights all around. I think there's no better way to end this than then just say, remember what Victoria said, just go for it. All right, everyone.
thanks so
Thank you
much
very
for having
much.
me.
We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
next episode. Appreciate you, Victoria.